Hello, this is episode 12 of the Wool Needles Hands podcast. Welcome to new viewers or subscribers, and welcome back to those of you coming back to watch the show again and again every 2 weeks. It is so great to be here with you guys again today. I have lots to share with you, and I'm really excited to jump right in. My name is Taylor, and I am the host of this podcast. This is a podcast primarily about knitting, but we get into other fiber-related crafts along the way, especially hand dyeing yarn, as we'll talk about later. You can find me on Instagram at woolneedleshands. You can also find me on Instagram at fiber.for.the.people. That is my own artisanal hand-dyed yarn business, but you can check out what's going on over there. You can also check out what's going on in the shop at fiberforthepeopleyarn.com. Don't forget the yarn at the end. That's important. Some people forget and then they get lost. So fiberforthepeopleyarn.com, at Wool Needles Hands, and at fiber.for.the.people. You can also find me on Ravelry at Wool Needles Hands as well. And I also have a Gmail account connected to the Wool Needles Hands podcast. That is woolneedleshands@gmail.com. If you have any questions, concerns, something you saw on the show but you forgot about it or you want to know more, just email me there. You can also just get in touch with me on Ravelry if that's easier for you as well. Also, don't forget to join the Ravelry group. We have a really bustling group over there right now. Lots of fun conversation happening. Lots of really cool progress photos on the chatter threads. Really beautiful finished objects for some of our knit-alongs. Check it out. You can find it by searching wool, needles, hands podcast in the groups page on Ravelry, and you can join and get involved. I am coming to you from Henderson, Nevada. This is my town. This is where I am from. This is where I live right now with my husband, Brandon, our 2-year-old son, Angus, and our big lazy house cat, Oscar, who, as we speak, is laying over here on the floor next to me, so he might make an appearance in this episode. I am just so happy to be here today. Like I said, I have so much to share with you guys. There is a shop update tomorrow, so I have lots of yarny goodness to share with you from Fiber for the People. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take care of everything that we have going on right now for knit-alongs and spin-alongs. We actually have only 2 things going on right now. We have a knit-along and a spin-along. The knit-along that we have going on right now is the Great Unravel 2017. This has been going on since April 22nd, which was Earth Day. I am co-hosting this with Celeste from the Yarn to Table podcast and Caitlin from the Wool Jewel podcast. We decided to do a knit-along that enforced the whole idea of reuse, reduce, recycle, and we decided to cast on Earth Day. There is a promotional video that talks a lot about this knit-along. You can find that if you click on the link that pops up right over here. If you are watching this on your big screen TV connected to a PlayStation or some other kind of a device like an Amazon Fire Stick, you won't see this link up here. That's only if you're using a mobile device, so if I point, nothing pops up, nothing's broken, it's just not going to show up on your TV, so just FYI. Also, any links that happen at the end of the show, those won't be there either, just in case you're wondering what's missing. So now that we got that out of the way. But there is a promotional video, so please check that out. I'm going to pop it up right here, right now. And that's going to tell you a little bit more about the Great Unravel 2017. There is a really, really great prize, so check out that video, get involved. It ends on July 17th, so if you're a really fast knitter, you still have some time to harvest a little bit of fiber and get something knit to enter into the finished object thread on the Ravelry page. We also have a spin-along going on over here at this podcast, as well as the Anxious Knitter podcast with Joy and the Arrow Knits podcast with Katie. We decided to co-host a spin-along that we are calling Spin for All 2017. This is a spin along for drop spindlers only, and we actually are encouraging newbie spinners, people who have never done it before, to get involved. It's not just for newbie spinners, anybody can join, but it is a really cool time for newbie spinners to get involved because we, the hosts of these podcasts, we are new to it completely, and so it is kind of a fun, get your feet wet in drop spindling type of spin along. So if you are interested in joining a spin along, this spin along goes until August 1st, and it started on June 1st. We are just spinning some fiber and plying some fiber. We don't have to knit anything with that fiber, and really the rules are pretty loose. So you can learn a little bit more about this particular spin along. There is a promotional video for this spin along that I will pop up over here. Again, if you're watching on your TV, you might not see it, so just check the links down in the doobly-doo for more information on that spin along. I do have a prize for this spin along that I have not mentioned in either the promotional video or in previous episodes because I just received it and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. Emily Novikov, who is the fiber designer behind Misty Mountain Makers, was generous enough to donate some bats of wool fiber for a giveaway prize, or actually I should say a finished object prize for the Spin for All 2017. So I really want to share this with you guys. Again, that is Misty Mountain Makers. Here is the business card that goes along with that. It is Emily Novikov. She has her information on the back of the business card. I will pop it up on the screen, and it will also be in the show notes down below in the doobly-doo. She has created some beautiful bats of fiber that I'm really excited to show you guys to give away for the spin along, and she also left one for me to keep, which is very, very generous, which I'm really excited about because, like, you know, if you've watched previous episodes, I am very new to drop spindling. I haven't gotten a whole lot done with that, which we'll talk about later, so I'm excited to have some fun new fiber to kind of work with on my drop spindle. But okay, enough of that. Let me show you what we have here. So the first bat, and I'm actually going to take it out of the bag gently so you can see it a little bit better. It comes in these really cool drawstring plastic bags here. Really nice packaging. She takes a lot of care to put the packages together nicely, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull this just so you can see the fiber a little bit better. It's amazing, absolutely beautiful. So this is Mr. Blue Skies, and it is a Merino BFL wool blend with bamboo and Firestar, which is, I have a feeling, the stellina type fiber that's running through this. So I'm going to keep this together. I don't want this to fall apart. So here is that fiber, and it's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see that sparkle in there, but it is so beautiful. That is Mr. Blue Skies. The next bat that she provided is called Delicate, and it is absolutely delicate. It is this beautiful mauve pink colorway with that Firestar stellina type fiber running through it. And the fiber content of this bat is a merino plus superwash merino, Falkland and BFL, and there is Tencel and Firestar in there as well. Absolutely gorgeous. And then last but not least, and this is the one that I have decided to keep for myself, I think it is such an interesting colorway and combination of colors going on in here. This is BFL wool with recycled sari silk, and I thought that was so interesting. Indian saris are those garments that women wear, real beautiful colorful silk, and there are recycled fibers from those in this bat here. So I love this so much. I think it is such a unique concept. I've seen yarn made from recycled sari, and I actually have some yarn from recycled sari, and it is just such a cool type of yarn. So this, like I said, is BFL wool recycled silk sari, and it's gorgeous. So I love this so much. I'm really excited to include this as a prize for the finished object for the Spin for All 2017. She did provide 2 bats. I am only giving away 1 bat or 1 prize for this particular spin along. So I'm trying to consider what I'm going to do with the extra bat. I think that might be given away in a future giveaway. I'm not 100% sure, but they are both so gorgeous. So just know that if you win the Spin for All 2017 by random selection in the finished object thread, you will be receiving one of these bats, and I haven't decided which one yet. When I decide which one will be given away for the Spin for All, I will post it up on Ravelry, or I'll just let you choose which one you would like if you win from the finished object thread. If you get chosen randomly, I'll let you choose the color that you like. How about we just do that? How about we just settle on winner's choice? So thank you so much, Emily, for this generous donation. I love all 3 of them. I'm so excited and honored to be able to give them away here on the show as a prize for the Spin for All. You guys, I actually have a fun summer drink to share with you. Jacqueline Underwood commented on my last episode of the podcast and left a really beautiful recipe, delicious recipe for a hibiscus tea spritzer. And that's what I'm having here. It is a beautiful drink, you can see here. Really pretty pink color because of the hibiscus tea, and there's some lime in there, but it's just a really easy spritzer. I'm using Schweppes and hibiscus tea, a little bit of like simple syrup and some lime juice, and you guys, it's delicious. I have the recipe for this, and I'm going to put the recipe for this beverage that was provided by Jacqueline. I'm going to put it down in the show notes down in the doobly-doo. I will also add it to the show notes in the Ravelry page. I'm going to put show notes both down in the doobly-doo, over in the Ravelry group, and I'm going to get better about adding my show notes. I've been really bad about it the last couple of episodes, so I apologize. But that's neither here nor there right now because we're talking about the beverage, and that recipe will be there for you. So definitely check it out. It's really, really delicious. Hibiscus tea is so refreshing. The lime juice really adds something to it. And the Schweppes is already sweetened, you know, for tonic water. It's pre-sweetened, and so it kind of helps to add, you don't have to add too much sweetener after that because it's sweetened. So yeah, you guys, I'm loving it. A lot. Absolutely a lot. I wanted to get one of those things that you see people use behind the bar when they're adding tonic water to an alcoholic beverage that you like, and it causes bubbles with the tonic water. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know what they're called. I even went to Total Wine, which is a liquor/wine store and beer. It's like a kind of like a high-end wine, you know, liquor, spirits, beer, craft beer type place, and I asked the guy, I did that, I said, do you know what do you have any of those things that you use? And I even did the sound effects. I went pss, 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 that you use to add like bubbles to your beverage, and he looked at me like I was crazy, but I was hoping to get one of those, but lo, I did not. So I just added the Schweppes, and it's perfectly fine. The carbonation is in there, and it gives it that effervescent, you know, tonic-y type, bubbly spritzer effect, and it's really delicious. So definitely check out the recipe for that. Jacqueline, thank you so much for your suggestion. I am looking for suggestions. There's a few more that I want to try from comments on the previous episode. So if you have any recommendations for fun, easy summer beverages that I could whip up prior to podcasting or just have as a beverage throughout the day, because it does get really warm here these days, please let me know. Leave it down in the comment section, email it to me, whatever. I would love to try it here on the show and share it. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, and I am totally digging on this. Also, guys, I got a haircut. I'm really, really excited about having a haircut. I don't know why it took me so long to finally get in and get my hair trimmed. I'd just been putting it up with bobby pins, and that was becoming a mess. And so finally I just bit the bullet and went in and got my haircut. I don't know why I'm so bad about getting in and getting haircuts. It's just, you know, you go out of your way and it's this big old ordeal, but whatever. I finally did it. Didn't want to be lazy anymore, so I got a haircut and I'm kind of digging on it. What do you think? I just had her trim it short on the sides, shortish on the sides, and kept the top long, because ultimately my goal is to kind of grow it out a little bit, and I thought this would be a good way to grow it out. It would look cute grown out like this. I don't know, but I got a haircut. So I don't have a huge story to share with you guys today about knitting and history, but I was snooping through some books at my parents' place, and they have a really cool book about the Harris Company, which was a department store in San Bernardino, California. And I was just flipping through this, and my mom directed my attention to one of the pages because she saw something on it that was pretty cool. And it was an advertisement from 1943. Yes, it was an advertisement from 1943, and it says knit something for the boys. I'm going to hold this up, but I'll put a bigger picture of this advertisement up for you to see. So if you can see right here, it says knit something for the boys, and it's an advertisement for knitting kits for making soldiers sweaters and socks, and the kits were sold at the Harris Company, which was this department store in San Bernardino, and I thought that was really cool. The advertisement says, knit something for the boys, navy or khaki service yarn in just the right 4-ply weight, 5 skeins required for an Army regulation sweater, and 12 skeins for regulation Navy sweater. And each skein, which apparently these skeins are 2-ounce skeins, each skein costs 50 cents. 50 cents. Like, what? Sock yarns for Army or Navy boys. 3 skeins makes 2 pairs of socks, and they were 2-ounce skeins. And those skeins for the sock yarn were 70 cents each. Like, I can't even... No words. That's crazy. But these advertisements were going up during World War I and World War II as a way to get women involved in knitting, knit their bit for the soldiers and providing, those woolen goods for soldiers out there who really, really needed them. And I thought this was just kind of a cool campaign that they did, putting these kits together back in 1943 at this department store. So apparently it was on July 7th that the Harris Company placed an advertisement out there for Knit Something for the Boys, letting women know that you can come and you can buy these sets to knit either a sweater for the Navy, for the Army, or a pair of socks, 2 pairs of socks. And then they finally got the U.S. Marine Corps. They invited them down, and then they established an information booth on the store's main floor where the women could come and get a little bit more information about what was required, what the specifications were, and whatnot. And I think that was really, one of the cool things about women's position and I guess I shouldn't say position, but women's role in World War I and World War II was that their, domestic skills at that time, which is what that was considered, their domestic skills became very, very important. And then when World War II came around, they kind of banked on that again, these department stores, realizing that that there was a calling out there and that they could kind of take part in that as a way of, bringing in revenue for the store, but also doing their part for, our soldiers in the battlefield. So I don't know, interesting. And it's just a book about images of America. It's a book all with pictures. There's only pictures and captions of these different places in America. And this one just happened to be the Harris department store. So I was flipping through it, saw that, thought I'd share. So believe it or not, I have made some progress on my projects. I have no finished objects for you. This is just going to be works in progress. And I haven't lost my knitting mojo. Typically, last year, I remember this time last year, I definitely was losing my knitting mojo a little bit. But this knitting community that I'm a part of and that we're all a part of here, in addition to, the hand-dyed yarn business with Fiber for the People, it's kept that knitting mojo going. And I love it. I'm so happy that I haven't lost that knitting mojo. However, my knitting has slowed a little bit because there are other things going on, as I know you guys are aware of that. And so I love, speaking of that, I've made the comments about feeling like I haven't had enough progress to share with you guys, and I feel like I show you the same thing over and over again, and people have commented back letting me know that they understand that there's things going on and that you can't always have things flying off the needle. So I really appreciate that. I do think about it often, and so it's kind of nice to know that you are out there supporting me in my really slow knitting process, because if there is one thing I am not a prolific knitter, that is for sure. I work on things slowly, I savor them. Some things I do quickly, depending on how much time I have. Yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that I do have going and that I am proud to show you some progress. The first two that I'm going to show you are my socks. I have my February socks, and again, they weren't supposed to be done in February. They are just knit in the February colorway, which was an exclusive colorway by Long Dog Yarn. And so I'm just calling them my February socks. And it's kind of funny because it does seem like I've had them on the needles for a long time, because I have. What can you do? This is the second of the pair. So last time I barely had any of the leg knit, and now I have almost all of the leg. Actually, I think I'm about 1/4 of an inch away from beginning my heel flap, and I'm loving knitting these. I think, I really do think I'm savoring these socks. I just love sitting down, knitting a few rows when I have some time. I'm not in any rush. I am participating in Kristen's Box of Socks knit along from the Yarngasm podcast, but to be completely honest, I'm not pushing myself to finish it. It would be great if I could get 12 pairs of socks done by the new year, and I very well may. I don't doubt that I will, but I'm not going to rush through my knitting projects just so I can be sure to finish the knit along. I just like participating in the chatter threads. There are some prizes that I would push to win, but it's just fun to participate. I guess that's how I do knit-alongs, is I just really like to participate in the chatter thread portion of it, and to know that I'm working on something that other people are working on. I think that's pretty much the best part of it for me. So yeah, I'm not rushing through these, but I'm really enjoying knitting them lots and lots and lots. And I love Brandy's yarn. Long Dog yarn is beautiful yarn. If you have not heard of Brandy's hand-dyed yarn, which is probably not likely, you definitely need to get in the groove because it is beautiful. This is the February colorway, and then this is her fig colorway. She sells the fig colorway. This was the exclusive colorway. So you can still get fig. This was exclusive. Not sure if it's coming back, but I do know it was just exclusive for February. I am just doing a vanilla sock because that's what I like to knit when it comes to socks. However, after watching the Anxious Knitter podcast with Joy just finished a pair of Hermione's Everyday socks, and the way she described that made me I'm convinced that that's my next pair of socks after these are done, because I'm a vanilla sock gal. I just like a basic sock that I can sit down and knit rows and rows and rows of stockinette and feel like I'm getting somewhere. I don't know. It's like I consider myself a t-shirt and jeans kind of gal. I'm a vanilla sock kind of gal. And I don't think that I'm a boring person. I just know what I like, I guess. I don't know. Is anybody else like that? That's just how I am. So yeah, these are my February socks. Vanilla sock. This is a 58 stitch sock. It's a little bit snug. If you've watched previous episodes of the podcast, I've mentioned it before. The finished first sock, it is beautiful. First of all, I love it. I'm loving the way that it came out, but it is definitely a more snug fit. I purposely casted these on with 58 stitches thinking that I would get a more snug fitting sock, because the socks I knit previous to this, which you can see in my Ravelry project page, are my stripy socks. Those socks were a little bit loose, and I don't mind a loose sock. I really don't. I feel like hand knit socks like this, I'm not expecting them to fit like a gold toe sock. I'm expecting them to be a little bit looser, a little bit more like sweaters on your feet, kind of. And whenever I wear knit sweaters, I like them to be a little loose. So I'm not expecting it to be skin tight, but I did think that over time, like any piece of knitwear, it's going to stretch. And so I wanted something that would be more resistant to that stretch. And so I knit this a little bit smaller. But lo and behold, it is a little bit it's not too small. I can wear it comfortably and it will stretch a little, but I'm definitely not a 58 stitch sock gal. I need something a little bit bigger. And so this sock, which is knit in the oil spill colorway by Fiber for the People yarn, which is my own hand dyed yarn, this I knit using 68 stitches, which is a huge leap from 58 to 68. And the reason why I did that was because the first pair of socks that I knit with a similar weight yarn I knit was 68 stitches, and I love the way they fit. And so that's why 10 more stitches. But this is that sock. Again, it's just another vanilla sock. I've made it a little bit further. I'm working on the heel flap. So this is my oil spill sock. Now, this, I love this colorway. I love it so, so much, but I'm going to tell you that this was a complete one of a kind of this colorway. I have made about 4 versions of this colorway since having made this, and when I did dye this, I dyed it as single skein in the pot, and that's not really a good idea if you're trying to recreate colors, because very rarely will you ever dye a single skein at a time. So this colorway, oh gosh, you guys, the stitch definition is beautiful. This is my tailor's favorite base. It's an 80/20 2-ply, and I love it so much here. But anyway, this version of oil spill doesn't exist in the shop right now. The one I have that I'm going to show you a little bit later is a much more moody version of this, more dark, more purples and less fuchsia. Even though it's fuchsia, all the dye is the same. Everything I did is the same. Well, not everything I did, but all the dye that I use and the colors that I'm using are the same. But there's just more of a gray undertone, which tones these colors down, darkens them up a little bit. And so one day I will have the formula down where I get this result again, and I haven't gotten there yet. However, every skein of oil spill that I have dyed has been gorgeous. So I'm really not disappointed because I love the colorway so much. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Oil spill is a work in progress. So if you buy oil spill in an update, just know that I haven't made it to that final, oil spill that is what I'm looking for. It still might change. So just keep that in mind. It's the only colorway that's like that. I don't know why it's like that, but I'm still working on it. I'm still working. So anyway, these are my oil spill socks. Love it so much. 68 stitches, 2 inches of knit 2 purl 2 rib. 7 inches of a leg, and then I'm doing a basic slip stitch heel flap here, and then I will do a heel flap and gusset formation of my heel, and then I knit to 2 inches from the tip of my toe, and I do a wedge toe, and that's pretty much my formula. I mentioned this a while ago in one of the really early episodes where I get my formula for doing my vanilla socks, and it actually came from Sock Knitting 101 on Knitty's website by Kate Atherley. So if you're interested in where I got the formula for knitting my vanilla socks, check that out. I will put it down in the doobly-doo, a link down there. I will also put it on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, but definitely check that out if you're looking for just a basic formula for a vanilla sock that's really easy to kind of adjust depending on what it is that you're doing or the size of the foot that you're knitting for, so on and so forth. So that is that. We have oil spill socks and my February socks in long dog yarn, fiber for the people, long dog yarn. Love them so much. And I'm just, you guys, I don't have to tell you how much I love my yarn. I don't. If you watch the previous episode, you know how ridiculous I am about it. I have managed to make some more progress on the Great Unravel 2017 project, which I need to really get busy. I don't know if I'm going to make the deadline for this because the deadline for this knit along is July 17th. I have some time, but it's just that I'm not knitting on things every single opportunity I get because I have some other things going on. So it's a little bit hard to make that progress I'm looking for, but my Eileen bag is actually starting to look like a bag, you guys. So here it is. I posted a picture on Instagram of my Eileen bag a few days ago, and I haven't done anything on it since I posted that, but this is it. It is a market bag with a really fun kind of mesh stitch happening here, and I love this so much. I really want to knit more of these. I'd like to knit one in, I have some cotton yarn that's just been building up in my stash that I could kind of bust on this. I also would like to try knitting it in a smaller, maybe like a DK weight yarn or even a light DK weight. I don't know. I really love this pattern, and so I'm excited to finish this, to have it, because it's one of those product knits, I guess you could say, where I'm knitting it because I really want the finished product. I love the process of it too because it's such an easy, fun knit. The mesh pattern that you're seeing here is really, really easy to knit, to remember. I mean, it's super memorizable. Then of course the bottom is just stockinette, but I love the shape of it. So if you're looking for something to knit for summer that's really easy and mindless, this is definitely a good place to go. It's the Eileen bag, but yeah, it's super simple. So I can't wait for this sucker to get done. I am going to probably, and actually this is what I've been doing for the last few days, is I've been knitting only on my socks and on this bag when I get a chance. I haven't picked up my Exploration Stations shawl since maybe last weekend because I made some good progress on that and then I stopped for a little while. So I'm hoping to get this. I'm going to focus a little bit more on this and my socks, and then I will get back to my Exploration Station, but I'm going to show you that next. Oh, but before I forget, this project is actually living in my project bag by Saved by Kate, and Saved by Kate is a designer project bags, and also she dyes yarn that was harvested from thrifted sources, but she repurposes textiles and turns them into project bags, and this is one example of her project bag, which she donated to the show as a gift for me, but she also donated one as a prize for the Great Unravel 2017 finished objects. So that would be this one right here. So this is Saved by Kate, and this is her little small project bag. And you guys, I love it. I love the pocket for the pattern. Great construction, lots of room in there for a medium to small size project. So that is what my Great Unravel 2017 project, the Eileen bag, is living in. All right, let's talk about my Exploration Station. Okay, so I think the main reason why I'm halted on this right now is because I have a little bit of a stitch count issue that I have to fix, and it's not a big deal. I'm almost positive I know what my mistake was, but I want to show you what I have so far. This is being knit in all fiber for the people yarn, which I'm really proud of because I love these colorways so much. They're beautiful together, and I'm proud to be able to share them with you. So here is what I have so far of my Exploration Station shawl. Tommy from the Squirrel Pie Productions podcast like blew through hers. I am such a slow knitter. I don't even know what the deal is. Like when I sit down and actually knit stitches, I'm not slow, but it just takes me a long time to finish things. I don't know what it is, but this is such a fun pattern to knit. I love watching it grow because it's such a unique looking piece, and watching the colors together is a lot of fun. I'm loving these colors together. These are, like I mentioned, Fiber for the People. We have in the yellow, this is the Spring Drop Cloth colorway, which is no longer in circulation right now. It was a spring color. I'm going to be bringing a summer drop cloth into the mix soon. This is Craig Nadoon, which will be back in the shop in a future update. Not the next update, but a future update for sure, because I love this colorway so much. This is Peach Pit, which you can actually get Peach Pit in a sock set in tomorrow's update. And this is the taupe color that you're seeing here down at the bottom. I'll come a little bit closer. That was a Lucky Strike color that I created called Espresso Roast. Lucky Strike colorways are one-of-a-kind colorways that I create using the residual dye from my speckling utensils. You can read a little bit more about Lucky Strikes over on the fiberforthepeopleYarn.com website. Check the blog out at the top of the page. There's a link that heads you to the blog. There's an article right now about how I do my Lucky Strike colorways, so if you're interested, you can check that out. But that is what I have going on in this project now, and I'm loving it. I really, really love it. So I just need to go back and check my stitch count, and then I think I will be back on track with my exploration station, and I love it. It's such a fun knit. I know that, you know, it's everywhere and Stephen West is so popular and super famous, but so I really, really love knitting this. As I mentioned in the previous episode, if you're looking for a Stephen West shawl to give a shot and you haven't done any before, maybe give this one a shot. It's super fun. Flies off of the needles. You can tell, I mean, just looking at it, it's super interesting to knit. This I-cord edging is such a nice added detail. It keeps it so nice and straight, and it's just a really easy detail. It's not complicated at all to do an I-cord edge, and I love that. I think that's one of my favorite things about it, because I love watching the color kind of develop along the edge there in almost like a rainbow. It's really cool. So you can see how the color translates in that little I-cord edging. So I don't know, it's a lot of fun. It's just, that's the thing about Stephen West patterns, is that they are full of fun color therapy, and this is definitely that for me. So, and I'm really proud to be knitting it in all of Fiber for the People yarn, and that's cool. So this is living in my ink bags, peekaboo bag, which I love for this project because you can see all those fun skeins or cakes of yarn in there and all the different colorways. This was gifted to me by Erica from Ink Bags. She is just celebrating her 1-year anniversary of her business, and she's actually just finished up a giveaway on Instagram for that, which included a skein of Fiber for the People yarn, which I'm really proud of too. So definitely check out Erica's bags. Her bags are amazing. She has not only these larger peekaboo bags, she has various different sizes, plus some really cute small notions bags, which she calls her Daphne Little Things bags. So love that. Perfect for this because you can see the skeins of yarn in there and they're really pretty. So last but not least, let's talk about my spinning that I've been working on for the Spin for All 2017. I had a little bit of my fiber spun and on my drop spindle, but I took it all off because I think I needed to start fresh. I needed to have a new kind of clean slate. I've been having a difficult time finding time to sit down and actually learn to spin and practice the way I should to become better at this. Sitting down with a drop spindle when you have a toddler around most of the time is a really difficult thing to do. And so I haven't had a lot of time. So I wiped out everything that I had and I started over. So what I'm going to show you is not very much, but it's what I have. So here is what I have so far. And I'm a little bit happier with this than I was with my previous because it's a little bit more even. Definitely not as thick and thin as the previous homespun or hand spun that I had. So I'm happy about it. And what I've been doing in order to kind of even out the consistency of the yarn is I've been taking, I'll show you. So let me pull. Okay, so I've been taking my fiber, so I have my fiber like this, and I've been separating it once to, kind of like, I don't know, is this called pre-drafting? I hear people mentioning pre-drafting, and I haven't looked it up yet, just because I just heard it mentioned, but I have a feeling that this has something to do with that. But I split it once, and then I split it twice, and then I take the thinnest, the less bulky piece, and if I need to, depending on the weight of the yarn that I'm spinning, I might even split this again like this, and then I'll start with a piece like this. It's easier that way for me to draft from the fiber and get it down to the consistency that I'm looking for, because the roving, when it comes, in these real thick, like long tubular masses, it's really hard for me to draft from that. Plus, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to break it down and do some pre-drafting. And so that's kind of what I've been doing lately, and it's helping. Before, I would just split it once and I would use half and draft from that, but then I would get kind of a buildup of fiber that was really hard to draft from. And so this makes it a little bit easier for me to pull and draft from the fiber. So I'm really enjoying it when I sit down and I actually take the time to do it. This fiber is really beautiful. I can tell it's a really good quality fiber, so I'm not concerned about that. It's just a matter of me sitting down and practicing. So I'm really happy that this runs until August 1st, because it gives me a chance to kind of get my scheduling figured out and a little bit more comfortable with the new schedule that I'm keeping now with the Fiber for the People yarn business. And so it'll just give me some time to really set myself, to set aside time to devote to this. I'm really super impressed with everything that I've seen in the chatter thread on the Ravelry page that you guys have been submitting there. It's really inspiring to see some of you who mentioned that you were beginners, had never done it before, you were dusting off your spindle for the first time in a long time, to see the progress that you're making and to see how wonderful you're doing, because I think that, gosh, when you really put your mind to something like this and practice just like anything else, you can really do really well. And that's obviously clearly something that I need to do. So I'm living vicariously through those of you that are participating in this spin along as actively as you are. And so I want to take a minute and speaking of that, and share with you guys some photos from the chatter thread of some of the things that I'm seeing that are just so cool. You guys are doing such a great job. So check it out here. These are some photos from people that are participating in the Spin for All 2017 chatter thread on the Ravelry page.
Spinderella, cut it up one time.
It's just really cool. You guys have done great work, so keep it up. We have until August 1st. Just, keep spinning and keep inspiring, because I think it's the things that you're posting that are really keeping people like me, who are having a difficult time finding time to devote to this, keeping us inspired. So I appreciate it. I love what I'm seeing. So happy spinning. In the meantime, that's all I have for works in progress. I'm actually only showing you what I've been working on diligently, or what I've been working on most. I do have some other things on the needles right now, like my Find Your Fade shawl, which is kind of just sitting in my knitting basket. Haven't worked too much on that in a while, but that'll be coming back out for future episodes of the podcast. But for now, that's all I have for works in progress. So for my food for thought topic this week, I don't know why this was such a hot topic to me. I don't even know if I can consider it like a super hot topic, but it's just something that's crossed my mind in the last few weeks. I've been noticing a lot of yarn dyers, indie dyers, creating kits that they curate for various different projects. I mean, we've seen, you know, the sew faded kits, the beautiful sew faded kits that Hugh Loco puts together. Nicole from Hugh Loco, she has all of those kits, and that you can buy the entire kit and it's everything you need to knit a sew faded sweater. There are kits out there for Find Your Fade shawls. There's kits out there for Stephen West patterns, Joji Locatelli patterns. It's really an interesting kind of like phenomenon that's taken over when it comes to indie dyed yarn and knitting patterns. And I wanted to kind of bring that up. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that because it reminds me of the whole process product project knitter concept, I guess you could say. And I was interested to see what you guys had to say about it. So my question is, are you the type of knitter who would like to have if you're going to knit a sew faded sweater or a Find Your Fade shawl or a Joji Locatelli pattern, would you prefer to have an indie dyer or a yarn dyer or a yarn seller curate a kit for you so that you can make that project with everything that's in that kit? Or are you the type of knitter who really prefers to curate that kit yourself, meaning you like to put it together with the yarns that you already have in your stash, or you like to purchase various different yarns for the purpose of putting them together for a project? And I guess I'm the type of person who really gets a kick out of finding yarn in my stash or finding yarn from indie dyers that happen to fit perfectly with a project that I'm working on and putting them together that way. When I put the colors together for my exploration station, I knew I wanted to knit that in Fiber for the People yarn. I got such a sense of satisfaction looking through all of the yarns on the shelf and finding ones that really brought out nuances in the others and putting them together that way, as opposed to having purchased a kit of skeins of yarn that were dyed to go together, meaning that there was a dyeing process that happened on each of the skeins of yarn so that they could be used together, which fascinates me to no end. I think that is so cool that dyers are doing that right now. I'm interested in knowing, I would love to know the process in doing something like that, and I know that's probably like trade secrets and nobody's going to share that, which I completely respect, but I think it's so cool and beautiful how that's done to create these kits that then knit into like the perfect fade. So yeah, that's really cool. But I know me and the way that I like to put colors together. I would definitely be the type of person who would prefer to create my own collection of yarn for a project as opposed to purchasing a kit that was already pre-curated for me. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to know, what do you guys think about that? How do you feel about when it comes to buying kits of yarn for projects? Do you like to buy those kits that are already pre-made, or do you prefer to put them together yourself? And as I'm mentioning this, as I'm thinking about it now, I think to me it's almost like it's almost dependent on the project. Like, for example, sock sets. I love sock sets. I love that somebody can dye up a beautiful skein of yarn and pair it with a really, really pretty solid mini and sell it as a sock set. I am all about sock sets. I almost prefer to just, if I know I'm going to be doing it contrasting heels, cuff, and toe, I would prefer to buy the sock set. That's just how kind of I look at that. So I guess sock projects, I like those curated sock sets. Sweater, like sew faded sweaters or Find Your Fade, I think that I would have more fun putting the yarn selection together from things that I have in my stash or from things that I purchase kind of from various different indie dyers so that I can experience different indie dyers. I don't know, I guess that's where I am on that topic. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Are you a curated kit knitter, or do you like to make your own kit for these types of projects from your own stashed yarn? Let me know what you guys think. You can comment down below about this. I will open up a chatter thread regarding this question over in the Ravelry page if you want to participate in the conversation over there. So let me know what you guys think. All right, you guys, there is a shop update coming tomorrow, and I am so excited to share with you what is in that shop update. Now, let me be very clear. tomorrow, literally tomorrow, from where I am right now, is Monday, June 26th. So tomorrow is not Thursday, June 29th, which is the actual day of the update. Tomorrow is Monday. I always record podcasts on Sunday, but I upload podcasts on Wednesday, meaning I will upload this podcast on the 28th. Therefore, the time that you are watching this, tomorrow will be the update. You get what I'm saying. So what I'm going to show you is not everything that's going to be in the shop update. There will be a part 2 of the 4th installment of the Making Progress vlog uploaded between the time that I'm recording this now and Wednesday, and I will be showing you more in that episode of the vlog. So honestly, quite honestly, if you're watching this on Wednesday, which you very well might be, that vlog may already have been uploaded. So this is one of those whole like space-time continuum quandaries that's happening right now, but hopefully you're following along with you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I don't need to do like a map of, you get what I'm saying. This is not hard to understand. I feel like I'm making this more complicated. So there is going to be a vlog episode. It may have already been uploaded. You may have already seen a little bit more about what's going to be in that shop tomorrow on Thursday, but I'm going to show you some of it that I have right now because I can't wait to just hold it up in front of the camera, show you guys, because as you know, I am so proud of the yarn that I'm dyeing over here at Fiber for the People. The colorways dazzle me. I love them, and I love sharing them with you. So without further ado, let's talk about what's going to be coming up in the next update, which is Thursday, June 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, before I jump right into the new colorways that are going to be in the shop, a few updates just to let you know on yarn bases. I have a couple new yarn bases that I'm using in the shop right now, and I have mentioned it on the website, so it's there in the yarn bases section so you can see, but I just wanted to tell you about it here. I've been, exploring lots of different yarn bases from various different providers and finding the ones that I really, really love, based on not only the having the utmost quality in the yarn, making sure that the yarn is of a high quality, but also just the versatility of the yarn. I think that's really, really important because there are some yarns that really only work for very few things, and though those yarns are beautiful and luxurious and so soft, I really want to provide yarn bases that are versatile to the knitter, and so that's kind of been a goal of mine when it comes to developing my collection of yarn bases. So you might be seeing those yarn bases changing from time to time, but that's why I haven't quite, because the business is so new, I haven't quite settled on those firm set in stone yarn bases. If you have any suggestions on yarn bases that you would like to see in the shop, I know that I'm not carrying every single weight of yarn, but if there are some that you would like to see in the shop, please let me know. Just go to the contact section from fiberforthepeopleyarn.com. Don't email me on the Wool Needles Hands email address for things like this. Keep it separate so that I can kind of keep that stuff organized. So if you want to contact me regarding Fiber for the People yarn, definitely do it over on the website fiberforthepeopleyarn.com. Head to the contact page and you can send me anything that you want to there. It's easier for me to manage. So the yarn bases that are a little bit different that we're trying out this update, we have a new singles base, and last update and this update, we have a new 75-25 loft base. And so I want to kind of share that with you guys today. So as I show you the yarn, I'm going to let you know what's different about some of these bases. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the new singles base that we're using in the shop right now. I am calling this Twisty Singles because it is a single ply 100% superwash merino that employs a twist in the fiber, and that's supposed to make it a more durable single ply yarn. Durable enough that you could knit a lighter wearing pair of socks with this. They don't ever recommend, they being the, overreaching, omnipotent they of the knitting world, but it's not recommended to knit socks using a single ply yarn. However, this yarn, I've done a lot of research on this particular yarn, and it is for the purpose of knitting into more hard wearing items. And that's why I'm trying it out for this update. I love this so much because it is very soft. It's a beautiful canvas for any dye job, and I can tell by looking at the fiber that it's not going to pill readily. If you have any pilling at all, which I cannot guarantee, can never guarantee that a single ply fiber is not going to pill when it's knit into a fabric. That is not something that, you could ever guarantee, because that's just the nature of single ply fiber. However, this particular fiber has been spun in such a way to prevent, with that twist, to prevent heavy pilling, which would be more prominent in some really, really soft, extra fine single ply fibers. So I'm really happy about that. So this is going to be called the Twisty Singles, and we are trying it out for this update. And you guys, I'm thinking that this is going to become my singles base. So what will happen is, if that becomes a thing, what will happen is I will just call this singles. If I decide to adopt it as my only single base yarn, it will just be called singles, and anything that is marked as singles will no longer be the single ply yarn that was sent out in the first update. It will be this single ply yarn. So that's all information I will definitely keep you updated on. Definitely sign up for the newsletter over on the website, because that's another place where I'll be keeping all of that information going. But I will keep viewers of the podcast updated, followers on Instagram updated about yarn bases, and then definitely check out the website for information on that too. But I love this so much. It's just beautiful. So I will show you, without further ado, the Twisty Singles yarn. Now this, I am showing you on, this is a Lucky Strike colorway. This is the Mauve Me to Tears colorway. Again, Lucky Strikes are one-of-a-kind colorways. You can learn more about those on the blog over at fiberforthepeopleYarn.com. But this is the singles. The beautiful twist in there. And this sounds like a really weird way to, like, an example of what it looks like in person, but it almost looks like a really pretty fine dreadlock. I don't know if that's a really good way to explain it, but you can see that the twist is holding the single ply together nicely, and that's what's going to make it a more durable fiber to knit with. So I really, really love this singles base so much, and I'm excited to share it in this next update. So this is Twisty Singles, and then this is the Mauve Me to Tears colorway, a true one-of-a-kind. This is the only skein in this colorway, and I love it so much. And it is on the Twisty Singles base, and this will be available in the shop for the shop update. Okay, I had my new Loft Base in the previous update, but let me tell you a little bit about why I have a new 7525. Previously, in the first shop update, I had a Loft and I had a Workhorse. The original Loft that I had was a more bouncy, squishy 7525 4-ply, and then the Workhorse was very, very rugged, beautiful fiber, definitely perfect for hard-wearing items, but it just didn't have the combination of the two that I was looking for. It didn't have that happy medium. It wasn't quite soft enough, and then the Loft wasn't quite hard wearing enough. I wanted something in between. I wanted a happy medium between the Workhorse and the Loft. And so I found that in my new Loft Base. This is a 7525 4-ply sock yarn, and I'm really, really happy with it. It's, you know, a 4-ply construction, 25% nylon, but it's not splitty like some 4-ply yarns of this type can be. It's just very, very beautiful. It's a harder wearing, but it's also still very soft to the hand. And so I'm very pleased with the new Loft Base. So when you buy something that is on the Loft Base, that will be what you're getting. Workhorse will show as being discontinued on the website. I don't think I'm going to add another 7525 fingering weight yarn. I think this is just going to be the one that I use as of right now. This is kind of all a process that I'm learning as I go, but I'm really, really happy with this yarn base. It's a quality yarn base, and I'm proud to offer it in the store as my 7525. So that is it for the new yarn bases. Let's go ahead and jump right into the colorways that are going to be featured in the next update. I have 7525 in my hand right now, so I may as well just show you this colorway. This is not new, but it is coming back in a larger quantity than I had it in the first shop launch. It is called One Can Become Too Familiar with Vegetables. I only had 2 of these in the shop launch because I wanted to see how it did. I had lots of requests for this colorway to come back, and with good reason. It is beautiful. So here is One Can Become Too Familiar with Vegetables on my 7525 base. A really, really fun, punchy colorway for summer. I'll pull this down a little bit so you can see the speckling that's going on in here. Oh, I love this so much. I just think that there's so many ways that you could combine this with other colorways if you're making a faded, you know, garment or some kind of item that requires more than one colorway that you get to, you know, mix and match. I think this is such a fun colorway for that. I mean, look at those speckles in there. How fun is that? And then this neon green, it's almost like a day glow green. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I love it so much. I had so much fun twisting this into skeins and watching those speckles kind of take shape on the yarn. Oh gosh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it so much. So this is called One Can Become Too Familiar with Vegetables, 75-25 Loft Base. I am also going to be featuring this on a singles base, which is the twisty singles that I mentioned previously. And that is right here. Oh, and talk about squishy. I love to squish the yarn. Okay, that's too much. So this is One Can Become Too Familiar with Vegetables on my singles base. This colorway is beautiful on the singles base. I feel like it's a little bit more vibrant on this base than it is on the 75-25, and that's just the nature of dyeing on separate yarn bases. They serve as two different canvases for the colorway, and so it's kind of an interesting, you know, dynamic of hand dyeing yarn. So love it. Love it, love it, love it so much on the singles base. This will be available in the shop tomorrow for the update. I have more of these than I did in the shop launch, but again, it is limited quantities. So if you are interested in this colorway, strike fast, strike while the iron's hot, because it could fly pretty quickly. So that is One Can Become Too Familiar with Vegetables on Twisty Singles and Loft. Another Lucky Strike colorway that kind of goes really beautifully with Mauve Me to Tears, which is this one that I showed you on the singles base, is this one, which I am calling Farlands. And that is a reference to Kubo and the Two Strings, which is a movie on Netflix that we started watching with our family, and I love it so much, and so I figured I would name a yarn based on that movie. So this is a Lucky Strike color. There are two skeins in this colorway, Farlands, on my 80-20, 80% superwash merino, 20% silk. This is my Haute base, and it is gorgeous. I am so tempted to just steal this for myself because it's beautiful. I did it last time I had a Lucky Strike on my Haute base. I stole one to put into my stash, and I'm so tempted, but we'll see how it does, because you guys, oh my gosh, I love it so much. Just squish it. Squish it. Oh, okay. That's gratuitous. Absolutely ridiculous. Why do I do that? It's just demoralizing to the poor yarn. It's like they're slabs of meat. Just handling them like that. But anyway, love these. Mauve Me to Tears and Farlands, and I love the way they look together. Beautiful combo right there. So these are some Lucky Strikes that will be in the shop. And while we're talking about Lucky Strikes, I have a couple more that I can show you. This is Hydrate. And this is on my 80, this is the same Haute base, 80% superwash merino, 20% silk. And this is called Hydrate. And you guys, don't you just want, like, if this were like a water, wouldn't you want to just jump right in? It's like Caribbean blue, beautiful water. Love it so much. We've been watching lots of Moana lately, and maybe that's why I'm so excited about this, because I've become obsessed with that movie. If you haven't seen Moana, you need to see it. It's amazing. But this color, what? Are you kidding? No, this is amazing. Yeah. I am going to need to definitely figure out how to come up with a solid formula for something like this, because I'm obsessed. So I have this in my 80-20 superwash merino silk, and I also have it on DK, which is fun. I like having some DK in there. So this is the same colorway on my DK base. Beautiful. There they are together. These will be available in the shop for the update. Super excited about that. I love having really pretty pastel solids. This is why I'm in love with the Lucky Strikes, because they always come out these beautiful pastel colors, unique tonal kind of shades going on in there. It might be hard to see on the camera, but they're definitely a tonal. They're not a semi-solid or a solid. There's variations of the colorway all throughout the skein that makes it so unique. So Lucky Strikes are truly, you know, one of a kind batches, and that makes me really proud. So that is Hydrate. And then the other Lucky Strike that I'm going to have that's kind of falling into the blue family is Silver Slipper. And it's a really pretty silvery gray aqua color, kind of like a sea glass colorway. I really, really love it. I know Erica from Ink Bags purchased a skein of dirty sea glass in the shop launch, and she's she's using it with another few colors from her stash for a project that she's working on right now. And when this came out of the dye pot, I immediately thought of Erica because I knew, gosh, this would look so pretty with what she's working on or with anything in this color family. So this is Silver Slipper, and it is on the Hope base, which is the silk and merino base I just showed you, but I also have it here on the 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon Taylor's Favorite base, which is just a beautiful 80-20 with a wonderful twist, 2-ply construction. Love it so much. So that is Silver Slipper, 400 yards, 100 grams of amazing, delicious, yarny goodness. And then the next Lucky Strike that I have so far, this is called Punch Bowl, and it is a pretty strawberry pink tonal that has lots of different random speckles of kind of reds and pinks throughout. It has a very fun stained look to it almost. Definitely a tonal, not a semi-solid, not a solid. But that's kind of why I called it Punch Bowl. It reminds me of what punch looks like before it's completely mixed, I guess you could say. I thought that's what came to mind when I was coming up with the colorway name for this. So this is beautiful. I really love the way this looks with this Mauve Me to Tears. Like, what? Oh my gosh, I feel like I have so many colorways right now that I would love to pair with Mauve Me to Tears. I mean, even the Farlands. Holy Moses. Amazing. And then, of course, if you do them all together, and we have a little menage a trois of colors. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Excessive. But that is Punch Bowl. And this is on my 80-20 Superwash Merino Nylon Taylor's Favorite base. That will be in the shop for the update with the other Lucky Strikes. So those are Lucky Strike colorways that are going to be in the shop. Let's go ahead and move on to some exclusive colorways. And these are returning colorways that you may have seen before. I focused a lot on returning colorways, but you know what? I have one new colorway that I experimented with, so let's go ahead and talk about that one first before I do the returning colorways. So this is an experimental colorway that I was curious about seeing these colors together, and so I went ahead and did some experimenting, and I'm really, really loving the way that this came out. It is so earthy, which you'll understand the colorway name, and it has just really fun texture that's created because of the various different colors in the skein. This is going to be in the shop as the colorway name As Seen from Space. That's the name of this colorway. However, in future updates, I think I might make some tweaks to this to enhance the colorways, maybe bring them forward a little bit more. There's some white space in this colorway, which I love, and I want white space in there because that reminds me of clouds. If you're looking down on the earth from space, there's always clouds involved, and you'll understand in a second when I show you. I know the anticipation is killing you. But there's going to be some tweaks made to this, perhaps. I really don't know, actually. I feel like I'm looking at it now, and it's gorgeous. So let me just show you. So this is As Seen from Space, and it is on my twisty singles base. Oh my gosh, look at that. Let me move this down a little bit so you can see what's going on here. So you can see the speckles of various different earthy greens and browns, deep blues, with the lighter teal blues and aqua colors going on in there. It's really a gorgeous skein of yarn. Oh, you know what? I don't even know if I would change anything about it. I love it so much, and I really love it on this single ply base. I'm really curious to see what it looks like on an 80-20 or a 75-25. I don't have any on that. Right now it is only on my twisty singles. Oh, those blues in there. Oh, Lord have mercy. So beautiful. So this is called As Seen from Space, and it's gorgeous. It's a new colorway. And I think it may be returning because I'm obsessed. I mean, just get in there. Look at this. Can you see all that? Oh, please. It's amazing. With those blues. What? Okay. Yeah, so that is As Seen from Space, twisty singles, 400 yards, 100 grams. I love it so much. I bet you. You just watch. What is she doing? Bam! Mauve Me to Tears. Paired up with As Seen from Space. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. There's something here for everyone. I actually kind of like it together. I think it looks really, really beautiful. What can I do? I'm having too much fun. Okay, so that is that. Now, let's go ahead and move on to colorways that have been in the shop before, but may be new to you. Oil spill. Now, I did mention earlier in the show that the oil spill that's in the shop today is definitely going to look a little bit different than the oil spill in my socks. And that's because it just seems to be a little bit moody. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think that the colorway came out. Actually, no, it's not why I think. It's why I know the colorway came out a little bit more moody this time around. So, without further ado, here is Oil Spill. Ooh, somebody is knocking on my door. I hear my boy. Angus! I think he left. Okay, oil spill. So this is oil spill on my Hope base, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% silk. You can see the colors coming through here. I mean, they're so vibrant and beautiful. The fuchsia is coming through, the gray, that deep dark gray, which is the representation of the oil spill in this colorway. Lighter shades of fuchsia and gray happening here. And then you have like that Caribbean blue color that I love so much. You can definitely tell that this is the colorway I was working on when I had this Lucky Strike. You can just kind of see, which is a lot of fun. But that is oil spill for this update. Now, this is what's happening here that is different, definitely different than this. So this is my sock. So you can see, now this is on a different base as well. I mean, this is an 80/20 and this is an 80/20 with silk. But you can definitely see that the tones in the new colorway that I have in my hands they're deeper tones than in my sock. Now, here is what happened, and I did it on purpose, and I think it was just that part of me that was curious to see what would happen. Whenever you add gray to a color, you're going to change the tone of the color, and that will deepen the tone of the color when a gray is added. So I dyed this up, and at the very end, when it was all said and done, I decided to go back over the color with a little layer of gray speckling. When I did that, all of the colors that were already established in the skeins kind of deepened a little bit. It toned them down almost, giving them that more moody, you know, not murky, that's a bad way to say it, but that more moody, deep, dark, purpley tone. And that's, you know, that's what's happening in this colorway here. And you guys, I'm obsessed. I love it so much. It's such a cool representation of the oil spill colorway. So that's what I did differently with this batch. I know how to create this exact version of this colorway. I take very detailed notes. Apparently I didn't with that first skein, but that was very early in, you know, my dyeing journey. And so I'm not, you know, it wasn't as detailed with that one. And that was one skein in the pot, which is very difficult to replicate with multiple skeins. But I can recreate this version, and I really do love it. People are really liking this on Instagram, and it's clear why. So I'm really excited about this copy of Oil Spill. I also have it on my gilded base, which is 75-25, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina. And you guys, oh my goodness. So here it is on my gold stellina gilded base. Just look at that sparkle with those deep purples and blues and fuchsias. Oh, this is insane. It's beautiful. So galactic and lovely. But yeah, you can definitely see that it's much deeper than the previous version of Oil Spill if you saw it in the last update. you can actually see the previous version of Oil Spill in the colorways section of the website at fiberforthepeopleyarn.com, which I will be updating so that this is the new colorway that shows in that section, just because I like to make sure that it's very clear what the colorway looks like at any given time. Okay, the next colorway that we have going into the shop for the update is Gotta Lava Mauna Loa. This is a fun, volcano-inspired colorway that I'm so excited to bring back in the shop. I had this at the shop launch and it flew off the shelves for a very good reason, and I'm super excited to bring it back. I'm going to have it on my singles, my twisty singles base, which is this right here. So this is Gotta Lava Mauna Loa, and oh heavens to Betsy, look at this. So beautiful, those black speckles in there with that super rich cayenne red color. Oh gosh. And then it gradually lightens down here to a fun orangey color. But this is Gotta Lava Mauna Loa on twisty singles, and then we have Gotta Lava Mauna Loa on the 7525 Loft Base. So lovely. And then we will have Gotta Lava Mauna Loa on my gilded base, which is my 70% superwash merino, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina, and that is this. You can see the gold sparkle in there. Really, really lovely. I feel like that gold sparkle really adds something extra to the theme of this colorway, being volcano and lava and burning rock. Okay, so that is Gotta Lava Mauna Loa on singles, gilded, and 7525, and all of these will be in the shop on June 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will have a little bit, I'll have a larger quantity of these than I did at shop launch, but again, went super fast at the shop launch, so if you are interested in this and one of these skeins, definitely work fast because it could fly. So that is Gotta Lava Mauna Loa. I am bringing back Your Pink is Showing. That is a colorway that I had in the most recent shop update. I love it so much. I think that the reason I'm bringing it back is really for selfish reasons, because I love dyeing it. I love looking at it. It's a beautiful colorway, and that is going to be on my gilded base and on my 7525. So here is Your Pink is Showing. Ugh, I just love this colorway so much. It has so many beautiful nuances, fun little surprises in the colorway as as the yarn opens and you can see all of the different parts of the fiber. It's just really, really beautiful. So I will have it on this 7525, and I will also have it on the gilded base, which is right here, which is the gold stellina base. I'm super excited about this colorway. I love it so much. Look at those speckles. Look at that variation in color. Yeah, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Then we are going to have lots and lots of cactus flower. Not only am I going to be including cactus flower in sock sets, but I'm also going to have solo skeins of cactus flower on DK, on 80/20, and on 75/25. So here we have cactus flower. Cactus flower is a favorite among people that are paying attention to the Fiber for the People. They love what's going on with cactus flower. This particular skein has more pink and orange showing right now, the way that it's twisted, but you can see those sage greens coming out, peeking through. This batch, to be completely honest, is a little bit more muted than other batches of cactus flower, and I'm really, really loving I'm loving that about this batch. They're so beautiful and summery. And I will have cactus flower on DK. So here it is there. Definitely really warm on the DK base. Lots of warm tones showing through. You do get that beautiful sage green. and it's really very lovely. I love, you know what, I actually didn't even mention when I started talking about yarn bases, this Lofty DK is a new DK base that I have in the shop right now. It's not replacing the old base, it's just one that I really like because it is 100% superwash merino, whereas my other DK, my toasty DK, is 100% BFL, and so I'm doing this right now just because I think this is a good DK fiber right now for the warmer weather, but I will be bringing back the toasty DK as well. But this is cactus flower on DK, cactus flower on 80/20. I will also have cactus flower on my 75/25. Here it is on my 75/25, so 80/20, 75/25. The 75/25, you can definitely see more of that green showing through, and it's definitely coming out more green in the camera, but the green is almost a bluey sage green color in the 75/25, more orange coming through here. So there's a little bit of a variation between the two yarn bases, but I don't know, I really, really love this softer, subtle version of cactus flower because it appeals to me, it appeals to my color tastes. The sock sets will include minis in the saguaro colorway. So this is a skein that I have not twisted yet of saguaro on my 80/20 base, and that will be what will be used as the contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes for the cactus flower in the 80/20 in the sock set. This is the same combination that was used in the previous update for cactus flower sock sets, so you can kind of see the colors going together here really, really nicely. So that is what we'll have in the shop for cactus flower. We will also have purple people eater, which is a returning colorway from the shop launch. I dyed this in very, very small quantities for the shop launch and have not dyed it until this update here, so I'm really excited to bring this back. So this is purple people eater, and purple people eater will be on my gilded base only and in relatively small quantities. Because I dyed only so few for the update, or excuse me, for the shop launch, I wanted to see how this one went over in this update, and then that will kind of dictate how much I dye of it in upcoming updates. But you guys, I really, really love this colorway. I'm telling you, I love colorways when they come out of the pot and once they're dried and twisted, but then when I see them on the screen, it's like a whole nother experience. I love them so much. So this is Purple People Eater, and it is on my gilded base, my gold stellina base. Oh, and it looks so beautiful. I really love that. This is 400 yards, 100 grams, Purple People Eater. Okay, now that is everything that is coming to the shop new for this update, meaning that was not in the previous update, except for your pink is showing, which I'm dyeing more of this. I've dyed more of this for this next update. This was also in the previous update, but it sold out. But I will be dyeing lots more yarn. So some of the things that I have planned to dye for the next couple of days before the update, because today is Sunday, I will be dyeing Pearl Jam for sock sets, Peach Pit for sock sets, Seagull, which I'll be pairing with that beautiful black onyx mini for sock sets, in addition to the cactus flower sock sets and solo skeins of everything that I've shown you guys here. So it is going to be a pretty lively update. Definitely be sure to mark your calendar and check it out. It is June 29th, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can find the update at fiberforthepeopleyarn.com. Head over there now. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter so that you keep up to date on all the different things going on at Fiber for the People. And also in the newsletter, that is where I send out special promotions that are exclusive to newsletter subscribers that I don't share anywhere else. So you want to make sure that you have that going as well. So I am looking forward to seeing everybody at the update. There's going to be lots more to come. So keep an eye out for the Making Progress vlog installment number 4 part 2, because I will have some more video of some of the different skeins of yarn that will be in the shop for the update. All Alright guys, it's about time for me to head out, but I just want to remind you, as always, definitely take part in the local yarn store call to action. What this is an opportunity for you to share your local yarn store with the viewers of the Wool Needles Hands podcast and the knitting community. And what you need to do is head over to your local yarn store, ask for permission of course, take some photos, videos, send that footage in to me at woolneedleshands@gmail.com. I will put it together in a little montage for the end of an upcoming episode of the podcast. This week I will be featuring the Stitchery, which is a local yarn shop in Pearl River, New York. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. I know you have busy schedules, and taking some time out of your day to spend with me and hang out here at the Wool Needles Hands podcast means so much you don't even know. So I appreciate that, you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. Definitely be there for the shop update tomorrow, the 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Otherwise, thank you so much for hanging around to watch. Don't forget to stick around after the show so that you can watch footage from the Stitchery, which is a local yarn shop in Pearl River, New York. Until episode 13 in 2 weeks, happy knitting, happy whatever it is that you guys are doing, and I will see you later. Bye!